Hey, y'all. Well, is there any of y'all yet? Probably not. So we'll just do this. This is Ryan Monso. That's Brad Towns. I'm in beautiful Tucson. The governor there is in Houston. Let's talk Houston Cougar football.
Is that what we're
This
going to call
has
it? We're going
been,
to call it football?
well,
Sure.
I mean, really, we're going to talk about Houston Cougar basketball recruiting, but
Now
also
that's
some football sprinkled in.
yeah. I had a feeling that when we had such a good week for signing week, we were due to just get kicked square in the crotch about 20 times. And
Is that what you feel like happened tonight? That you got kicked in the crotch a few times? Is that how you're gonna describe this?
no, because I expected this. I mean, I if you remember the last time we talked in the last football game,
Mm-hmm.
my parting words were, "Don't fuck it up like last time." I was expecting.
Okay. Can you fill us in? How did that go?
They didn't avoid that.
They did not avoid that. They
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 did. They whatever it is. Here, let's credit JP 92. That's a good question. I really don't know.
I
I
I
really
wish
don't
I
know.
could tell you. Um I'm gonna be honest. I thought the mood in practice this week was great. I thought people it felt like people were coming together. And that tells you that who the fuck knows? It's just no
Mm.
clue. From one week to another, this team is so far polar everywhere. It's
Yeah.
bad. I'm going to show you when I realized that today was going to be bad. I played golf today,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful golf course here in Tucson called Arizona National. Uh, get to our cart, and this is what's on the ice chest. I have never seen anything like that in my entire life.
Wow. What do they just make it out of the lake water or pond
I
water?
well, there's very little water uh here because of drought situations, but
But I
ice
mean,
not for human consumption.
but being in Arizona, ice can mean a lot of different things.
It accurate, uh, but it did not start out well, and I thought maybe this is not going to go well. Uh,
Um, Armando, I didn't expect this bad, but I expected not good.
I expected not good.
Um, here's something that my junior college baseball coach told me. You're not good enough to think you're good.
I think that's pretty good,
And
because you're not.
for people who need an explanation is this team's performance in the wins that they've had haven't come because they're a good team. They came because they did everything right. And the minute you start thinking you're good, usually details start to slip. You stop doing the things that you did to get you there. You lose the mental
Yeah.
edge that you need to overcome talent. And that's not. I mean, we were talking before we even went live. This is the exact. This game is no different than the Kansas game coming off of the bye after
No.
TCU. Ironically, after beating a team in purple, but
Well, let's stop. You beat a team. You go on the off week, not the bye week. You face a team that has lost 5 games in a row,
yeah.
both times.
Mm-hmm.
And you turned Kansas into a fucking juggernaut. They had just been murdering people ever since. And
Yeah.
then tonight, um, I did not think U of H, I thought U of H did some pretty decent things at times. yardage wise, and we don't give a fuck about yardage, but 326 yards, which is in the top half of games this year.
Mm-hmm.
But you were 2 of 13 on third down. You were 0 of 4 on fourth down. You set the tone, and people disagreed with me, but I'm just going to keep this up. You set the tone on the 1 yard line. You put Donovan Smith in again, and you crap yourself again. That's 7 or 8 times inside the 2 yard line this year where you haven't scored. At some point, you have to put those points on the board and show your defense that the offense is going to help, that there's a plan, and that you can put something together. But that was pitiful. And then on a punt return, you have a hold. Was it real? Was it not? It doesn't matter. It was close enough.
Technically, yes, it was a hold. Could
yeah,
it?
I would not have called it. But
the only real question was it an offsetting foul, because the defender did have his face mask.
yeah, I thought there were a couple face mask calls that could have been made that weren't. But I don't think refereeing had anything to do with that score, that 27-3 shellacking you took. There's bad all over the place.
And unfortunately, the defense had a really bad third quarter.
Really bad.
Really, really bad. Uncharacteristically bad.
Well, I mean, at some point, you're carrying your offense and your special teams, and you can't sustain it. Rashawn Sanford had 7 rushes for 72 yards early. Naturally, he got 3 more carries. He ended up with 5 catches. It was bad all the way around. I don't know how you put up this shit show.
3 turnovers.
3 turnovers, bad turnovers. I mean, the pick that Zion Chris had, there is no reason to make that throw ever, ever, ever.
I don't. What was worse, the pick on that throw, or when he took a sack to the only
when it was
person,
like 40 yards that he had 40 yards of, okay, get rid of this. The sack came late in the game, and it was pretty much decided by then. The turnover came at a point where you still had a fighting chance. Brad, keep us updated on the comments, because there's some goofy internet stuff here.
All right. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. It's week 10 and people are still surprised by the play calling. No, I'm not. I understand what they're trying to do play calling wise. I thought they screwed up by trying to throw the ball too damn much.
They did throw it a lot tonight.
I mean, hey, everybody wanted to see us air it out a little bit. You got 27 throws, 16 completions. Some look good, some look terrible.
But you know what you have there, right?
Yeah. Well, you should.
Yeah.
I think Sanford had like 70 something yards at the start of the game in like the first half.
Did we just not talk about this? Did you not listen? Okay.
Yeah, but it's fucking late, dude.
It is. 1 a.m. I agree with you.
Let's see. Big Jack wanting to see, hey, yep, we're all the sickos here.
No, if you watch this game to the conclusion, you have a codependence problem with the University of Houston. But thank you for watching and for showing up for us. Get you some Star Pizza. They're not open and haven't been for 5 hours or however long.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, you know what? Hold on. Let's get this one real quick. Embarrassing loss to a bad team. Is this week 12 team version better than week 1? Has there been progress made this season?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there has. I'm kind of on the fence on this. Do what?
No, sir. We were told. Craig Henderson said we could stay here. Well, I I'm media. Okay. Yes, I understand. Okay. I just got kicked out. Uh, so I'm gonna have to relocate. Uh,
Where are
so
you gonna? You got to
I
go
don't know.
stand in the hallway or something.
I'm gonna go stand in the hallway. You're exactly right.
So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I'm on the fence.
You don't
Last,
think there's been any improvement?
no, there definitely is.
Okay.
But this is a 2-step forward, three
Four
step
steps
back.
back. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know what's happening. Uh, I'm gonna walk with you. You can keep talking. I'm gonna shut the camera off for a second, but
All right, let's
go
see
ahead.
here. How many fails have we had on the 1 yard line this year? Way too many. I don't know.
You had
It,
two with Utah.
it's sad. It's sad whenever you would rather, or whenever I would rather be on the 15-yard line than the 1 yard line. I just don't know how we can be consistently that bad. Jack Martin, player of the game. You know what? My player of the game would be Stephon Johnson. I thought he played well, and he was willing to sacrifice his life going over the middle to catch a high pass.
A lot of battle. Yeah.
Um, so I thought he played really well.
Jack had a nice game. That was a career long.
Yes, Roy got dominated like the Cougs did.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. Not a nice guy, but what can you do? Um, if you had to, so you say Stephon Johnson. I don't. He had 70 yards.
Yeah,
Does that sound right?
yeah. He had a couple of big catches for first downs.
Yeah. Well, the only two first downs you completed all night.
Yeah.
Um, so if you take him out of the equation, who's the player of the game? Because I don't know that there's an obvious answer.
There's not.
Carlos Allen had a good first quarter.
Yeah. I thought Kentrell Webb played solid.
Okay.
I mean, it was one of those up and down nights. He made some really good plays, and he had a couple of ones that were, you'd like to get back, but I thought he played solid. Defensively, it feels like we missed a lot of tackles, but I don't think we did. I just think the ones that we missed really, really hurt.
I think you missed a lot. U of H averaged more yards per play than Arizona, which feels shocking with 3 points. But it actually happened. I'm going to give you my player of the game. You didn't see him. He wasn't on the field. It was the chef or the tailgate for the University of Arizona president. I have a friend, a guy that hired me for a job 20 plus years ago, and he's now vice president at Arizona. And so I got a grand tour of campus and things, and then they brought us to the president's tailgate, and this was what they had: chocolate covered bacon. Never experienced this before, but that guy, player of the game, without a doubt. I'm gonna. Oh,
McMillan is a freak show. We
He's a
have
good player.
well, you see the difference between Arizona this year and Arizona last year. It comes down to quarterback play. I mean, college football is all about the quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback clicking, you're not going to win. It just, it's just the way it is. That one position gets more and more important every single year. And if you don't have a quarterback, if you have a quarterback who is not going to be a playmaker, he can't be the one who kills you too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, we end up, what killed us, 3 turnovers and 3 turnovers on downs we came up short 4,
yeah.
but two in the first half though, right?
That I don't know. Stats by Starnes.
What stat do you have?
You scored 3 points.
Yeah, it's the third time we have scored a touchdown.
So you had UNLV where you really scored. I mean, you didn't really score a touchdown. You scored it with the third teamers in.
Uiali, savior.
Yeah, that's who we all had. I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of all over the place. I thought I had a pretty good stat, but I can't find it now. You will never see that uniform again. That uniform was awful. There's no reason to have different colors on the helmet and the jersey.
Yeah. I mean, it was just top to bottom trash.
Everything was a failure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing I don't, say it a million times even in basketball, I don't mind the losing. I don't like how it happens. You come out and go to war, you get beat, so be it. But I just don't know what the hell is going on the week off. I don't know how you can look this terrible 2 times after both weeks off.
But you've looked terrible 5 times. You look terrible UNLV, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas, and Arizona. I mean, it's not like it's some random thing. It's half the games.
Well, I'm talking about after
I understand.
TCU, we got things going a little bit, and then you collapse against Kansas. Then you come back and do what you need to do against Utah and Kansas State, and then you think that you might be turning a corner,
but you're really not.
Well, you showed a lot of improvement, a lot of different areas, and then you come out and completely. I mean, it's just a absolutely shit splatter all over the walls. It's terrible. This is a terrible game, top to bottom.
Yeah. But if you think about it, Kansas State, okay, you did some nice things, but you struggled on offense again. You did the right things on special teams and on defense. But Utah, you left a lot out there. You did not look good for large segments of that game. Bad on third down. But what has been consistent in your wins in the Big 12 have been no special team mistakes, no penalties, and the turnovers. Mm-hmm. And if you're gonna turn it over 3 times, all right, let's go home.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take a touchdown off the board on special teams, all right, let's go home. Because it's not gonna work. And this team does not have the talent to make the mistakes of turnovers and special teams crucial mistakes. You cannot ask your defense for 60 minutes of holding a team under 28 points. I mean, you gave up 2 enormous bombs in the kicking game in 62 and 51 yards. That 62-yard kick is by far the best I've ever seen in person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that thing was drilled.
I mean, think about this. The 2 bombs kicking, those are, well, the 60-plus yarder, that's a 10% shot.
Less.
The 50 yarder, it's probably maybe 50-50, maybe 40-60. But then the other touchdown, that one of the touchdown you give up, the first one, that was just a
penalty.
Well, I mean, that was just a throw, toss it up in the air.
Right.
Fortunate to come down with it. So, I mean, as bad as the defense played in the third quarter, they played well enough to keep you in the game long enough if you could actually score and do something and be a threat.
But it ain't happened.
I have a good idea what it is. I just think it's a lot of good kids who aren't really good players that started thinking that they were good players, and you gotta come out with a special edge because you ain't that. That ain't you. That ain't this team. That ain't these players. And if you're not coming out, if you don't have that edge,
it's a group of really good guys, good guys. But it's certainly not a great team. No. It's not a great offense at all. And, you need top to bottom improvement. I think you have some good running backs, but, you can't put 4 quarters together. You can't. It's just got to get better. And on the offensive line, there's some bad. And at receiver, I don't know if collectively you're a very good receiving unit. And then you've got major problems at quarterback. It's hard to be at a complete loss for what you just watched, but I am. And I've seen this team virtually 98% of their practices, spring, fall camp, and the season. I don't know what the hell I'm going to see from one game to the next, one quarter to the next. Mm-hmm. And I certainly know that anybody that just tunes in on Saturdays or Friday night has got to be thinking the same thing. The good news is you get your Saturday. The bad news is it's half over.
Well, now we're forced to sleep in, and it is, what? Let's see, how cool was it? It was in the 60s last time I noticed. So I can leave the window open.
Okay.
Thing that really sucks is that we got to wait another week for basketball.
Yep. Speaking of real, they have gone a little quiet about some things, but this is real. I'm not going to tell you it's happening, but it's real. I want to clear up some confusion on this. I was at the front of first class. It wasn't just first class. I was the number 1 seat. This website's doing very well, and I reward myself for it.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. Now, some facts. It wasn't Southwest flight, but still it was first class.
Was it? Did you ride backwards?
They don't do that anymore.
Oh,
this was a brand new plane. And,
really?
And the best Wi-Fi I've ever had on a flight, except for the 5 seconds where Kingston Flemings was saying, "I'm going to the University of Houston." The internet cut out at those seconds.
Oh, really?
But everything else is great. But first class.
Probably ran a lot better than the Netflix debacle tonight.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. I am not staying at this place that doesn't want me for any longer than that was pretty embarrassing. I got kicked out. I was in the president's suite or a buddy of mine who flew with me was hanging out, and I was told I could do the show there, and then that did not last very long at all. We want to thank y'all for being here. It's a small crowd, but it's the middle of the night, and that was a
Sickos.
disaster of a night for your football team. Star Pizza, 3 locations, lunch special. You got all day tomorrow. What else are you going to do? Watch football. See if Dana Holgerson can get it together at Nebraska. That's the most fascinating thing of the day for me. A lot of Kevin Sumlin talk here tonight with some alums wanting to know our opinion of Kevin Sumlin. Okay.
Does the opinion change from the time he was coaching us or the time he left us?
Well, my opinion is just the person and
okay, yeah.
the coattail rider.
Well, yeah.
And things have turned bad. He has to drive himself now, and
that's a public nuisance right there.
Yeah. So, the people here think you saved Brent Brennan's job. The way Arizona played early in this game, it looked like they were tapping out. That first drive that you go all the way down the field, they did not look very interested to be here. But then they got interested. So you're welcome, Brent Brennan.
Maybe it's something that'll pay off for us next year.
Maybe.
We probably wouldn't get it. We probably get Arizona State next year.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's late, but I don't remember who and what you're getting. I think the number one thing that I would say about this game is I just did not see the fight. And if you have a bad week of practice, or if you just you're not on the right page, that's certainly one thing, but you just did not see the fight tonight. And the massive mistakes and the brain farts, and I mean, Zion Chris misses he bounces that first pass that should have been picked off. He throws the interception. You have Stacy Sneed in this corner gonna walk in for a touchdown, and you overthrow him by 4 yards. A quarterback has to be able to make the easy throws.
Yes.
And if you're struggling in other places, I understand putting the pressure on yourself, but it's unacceptable what you saw tonight. But I don't think Donovan Smith's the answer, and I don't think Uyala is the answer. And so you're just going with whoever you think can win a game. Yeah. I do not understand the Donovan Smith playing, what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense at this point, especially when everything looks the same. I don't even know what to say.
Well, there's 2 games left.
There's 2 games left.
I'm going to call it. This team is out of bowl contention.
So you don't think you got a shot?
No. I think the last game of the year is going to be like crows picking on a carcass. I think this team's going to get absolutely ass blasted the last game of the season at BYU. They'll be embarrassed. I wouldn't be surprised if BYU scored 274 points. I don't know if that adds up correctly, but the guys are playing for jobs next year. The guys that are out of eligibility, you better give it everything you got, because it's the last time you're ever going to put that uniform on, because ain't none of y'all going pro unless it's a miracle. So, it's up to everybody to decide what they want to do, If you want to lay down and quit, well, there's the door is revolving. You're either going to be part of the solution or you'll be gone. So make a decision and get to it.
Okay. So I'm done with football. If you're done with football,
Done.
Kingston Flemings, the paperwork came in this morning.
Booyah.
He signed. They announced Isaiah Harwell yesterday. And in a 24-hour period,
And Bryce Jackson the day before.
Bryce Jackson the day before. But in that 24-hour period, Kelvin Sampson, who's been a head coach for 36 years, signed the two best players of his life. And there's a very good chance that he signs another one of those top players.
Didn't he sign one? Didn't he pull Gordon at what was it, at Indiana?
What is wrong with you? Just let me have my moment. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is he pulled a really good one, but I think these two are better. I think these two are higher rated.
And I think, Jairus is up there, obviously. But
true.
I mean, these guys, and you're putting them together. What a backcourt.
It could be dangerous.
I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be fun.
Well,
you have
the beautiful thing about it is it's not like he's star chasing. It's not like he's going out and just getting a 4 or 5 star that would say yes. He's going out and getting and identifying the exact same type of mentality, the exact same type of work ethic that we've been getting. These guys are just better in high school than other guys were. Not saying that they're better players, but they're starting, their floor is higher so far.
Yeah. And it comes down to development, and it comes down to want to. Players have to want to be great. And they have to be willing to work for it. And this is it's wild to say that a man at Kelvin's age, I think he's 69, is going into this, maybe 68, but just has this. Actually, I think he's 67. He's the same age as my mom. But I mean, this is a new lease on life, and the guy's had a pretty good life to this point.
He's just getting better. That's the wild thing. He just keeps getting better. Here you go. Here's a question for you, Ryan. We'll both start next year.
At some point, yeah. I mean, they'll start games. I don't know if they're starting the first day. I can't. It would be shocking to see a Kelvin Sampson have 2 freshmen in the starting lineup to start the year. Is my thought on it.
Yeah, I think they'll have the opportunity.
Yeah,
it's a matter of they're gonna have. I mean, they're gonna have to outplay some people. They're not gonna be given a free ride just because they got really high rankings. There's guys they got to beat out. I mean, it'll be real interesting to see the kind of the battle with the point guard position.
Fascinating. You have so much potential this year, but it's hard to not say, I can't wait for next year. And that's a really, really good problem to have, as is trying to figure out if they start and trying to figure out where they fit in. Kelvin likes saying that he's a tinkerer, and this is going to be the best tinkering opportunity ever.
Well, because I mean, you think of from a shooting guard perspective. I mean, you got Emmanuel coming back, right? And then you've got Mercy Miller coming back. Then you've got Cordell.
Yeah.
If he doesn't move, he can play. He can move over to the point too. But I mean, you've got really, really, really good guys, and nobody gets a free ride. I mean, I think the guy that the guy that has the best chance to possibly start would be Cenac if you can get him.
There,
There's more space down low than there is. There's less traffic down low as far as route to play than there is on the perimeter.
They can move JoJo to 4, and it's I mean, we could do show after show after show on what could happen.
Well, we're even doing that right now. We've got enough talent on this team right now to where you can just draw up all kinds of crazy, wild lineups, and there's really not, from a talent level, there's not a lot of drop off. The drop off comes from the amount of experience.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about like Milos, Juwan said to me a few weeks ago that I don't remember him from the OU game on March 2nd. I don't even remember him. To where you're at now, he's playing at an elite level. It's not Jamal said, but it's an elite level.
Oh, and I think he comes in. I think he comes in as a better shooter, better pure shooter than any point guard we've had. I mean, I think he's as good a pure shooter as if you were running Sasser at point, which Sasser ran point a few times.
Yeah,
early in his career. But I think he's that good a shooter. I mean, his freshman year, shot 40% from 3. Last year he struggled a little bit from 3, but now he's stroking it so far.
Yep. But early. I was trying to click on something. Hang on a second. Well, they're not making anything now, but they will. They will do it very well. I have not heard official numbers, but they're going to ask you to help out. They're going to ask you to chip in, get involved. So be waiting. I talked with Kellen about some different things that maybe they could focus on and what could work for the program NIL wise, because they are going to have to make a big commitment, and they're going to ask a lot more people to get involved. And, it's going to take the entire fan base. If you want championships, you're going to have skin in the game now. Everybody does. And it's just different. And you got to buy in if you want to compete on that level. And, if they can get CNAC and they have these 3 monsters, well, then they've done their job, at least to this point. And it's time for the fan base to come around and do theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to see some different things, but the number one thing you're going to see is, this talent is there. If you think Mercy Miller is like going to have the fewest stars of any of your shooting guards, and that kid can 100% shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really cool things coming, but it's going to take the fan base, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about it down the road.
Well, I think it comes at a real good time with Eddie Nunez and his ability and willingness to step out and go after people who might not have been engaged in the past. He's got to find. We can't keep rattling the exact same trees. We got to find new blood, and I think he's the right guy to do that.
Yeah, and he, in the early days, he has been the most accessible AD that I've been around, and he is coming on shows like ours He was on Duarte's Spaces today. He's just available, and you have not gotten that. And does that translate into dollars? No, but there is an effort, and we'll see how that continues to develop.
But I think it does, because
Indirectly,
it's not the fact that he's doing it. It's part of what he does every day. It's indicative of
yes,
the small things that he does that's going to set him apart
yeah.
from what we've seen in the past.
He's not saying we need to run the go be engaged play. It's just who he is.
And it's not, hey, I'd love to come on there. Make sure you send me a list of things, and I want full edit control. I need to make sure that I limit my exposure as much as possible. And I really don't want to do this, but I'm only doing it because I'm obligated. I was told by my boss that I need to do it.
I don't know who you're talking about. Okay.
But it's the little things. It's all the little things that add up over time. I mean, the thing that meant most to me from him was just the little thank you note that he sent to us, that he sent to everybody after a couple of weeks on the job. It's like that goes a long way. It tells you where his mind is.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to end this now.
And I'm going to eat Star Pizza tomorrow. I'm sitting here looking at the logo.
That's a good idea. I like it. That's helpful.
I'm going to get that chef special.
Okay. I am not going to have Star Pizza tomorrow.
Well, you're going to be in Arizona.
I'm going to be in Tucson for another few days.
What's on the agenda out there?
So tomorrow we're playing golf, and then we're playing at a casino. We're going to go to a sports book, watch games after that. And then Sunday, so there's a huge airplane graveyard here.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds of planes.
Yep.
And there's a museum. And we drove by it going to golf course today. And I mean, it's massive. And so we're going to check that out. Like, I'm not necessarily the plane guy, but it's pretty cool. I'm into it. I'll do it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be real cool.
Yeah. So, and you're going to try to eat some food. There was a sign on the road that we were driving on, Tucson Boulevard, I think it's called. The next 23 miles are the greatest Mexican food in the country. The next 23 miles. And then right after that sign was a Burger King. So,
oh, yeah.
Not quite the Mexican food that you had. But yeah. So this is accurate. Hard to watch. Many missed opportunities. The offense definitely did not help the defense. Nope.
Correct.
Yeah. So there you go.
The Mexican food would be a little bit different than what you normally have here.
Accurate.
Great, though.
Yeah.
For at least the one time I was in Arizona.
Okay. Good talk, Brad Towns. Any final thoughts?
No, come on, basketball season. I guess we're going to play football next week. We'll figure that out later. But basketball next Friday, and then we get a whole lot of basketball for Thanksgiving. Yeah.
That's going to be fun. You're going to have quite a bit. We're going to be doing a lot of these shows. So hopefully, thankfully, that most of them are basketball related.
Oh, we should be back on Sunday night.
We'll be back Sunday night. We have a good guest working on another.
Efforting.
So, yeah. So there you go. That's the show. GoCoogs.com. Cats.
Thank all you sickos for hanging out with us.
I don't know why you're doing it. Why are you awake? You just lived through that.
Hey,
but thank you so much.
The people that are here, I guarantee you, are sickos who would be up up to no good without us. So we just keep them
They'd be
from.
asleep.
No, I think the sickos that are watching us are normally just doing sicko things at this time of night. Looking for another football game. Probably watching Bassmasters from 1984.
Okay, that's just the end because I don't want him to say any more stupid stuff. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. And we'll do this Sunday night with Talking About the Cougars. Thank you. Bye, Brad.